Hello, hello. Welcome back to Tarot Playdate. I am so happy to be back. Okay, it says I'm lived. I'm live. Already starting off with my fumbling of the words. All right, I just want to make sure that my stream is up and going for me here. There we go, and I want to pause that because I don't want to see that. All right, how's everybody doing? I see we have a few people in here, 27 already. So let me say some hellos and welcome you all back. Thanks for coming back after our week hiatus. So we have Elizabeth in here, finally. I'm with you, Elizabeth. That's how it feels to me as well. Pamela Ramsey from Oregon, hello. Richard Longman Tarot, Simon Aop, Sandra, hello from the Whispering Well. Corvin from Tail Raven Tarot. Hello, good morning. Actually, it's good noon 30-ish for you, I suppose. See, who else do we have here? Oh, why am I on that chat? I want to be on this chat over here. Okay, and then we have Elle. Hello, Elle, predicting the Three of Wands. She maybe has a little insight into the fact that card has been stalking me lately. Okay, said hi to Elizabeth. Scrolling. Susie Gemini's here. Hi, Susie. Oh, the chat jumped all the way to the. Why you gotta do that? I was on a roll. Okay, let's see here. Back to where Susie was. There's Susie. Oh, there's Becca. Hi, Becca. Shanti Diva is here. Tyken Lightman. Hello. Stephanie Johnson. Hope everyone had a happy Samhain. Yes. Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Patrice is here. Hello, darling. Melanie Music is here. Oh, Melanie Music. That's fun. I like that name. White Tree Tarot and Val. Hello. Kristen Louise. Hi. Mendy's here. Saskia. Hi. Betsy Palmer Medium. Hi, Betsy. Donna Riedler. Kimberly. Emily. Okay, there's so many people here. This is exciting. We're all ready to get back into this, aren't we? Aquarius, Owl, Drop of Golden Tarot, Jonathan Daly, Aloha. Yeah, get some coffee. It's early for you, my friend. Let's see. Did I make it to the bottom? I think I made it to the bottom. Okay, yeah. Oh, elections. Oh, Patrice. Okay, well, so I missed you guys too, Richard. I really did. And it felt a little weird last Sunday not being here. All right, so are we ready to bring forth our questions? I don't know if we have any newbies here today, but I will. Oh, Emily just switched accounts. Emily on your other account. All right, so like I do every week, what I'm going to first do before we draw our card is gather a list of 5 questions. Simon is showing you how it's done right now that we want to ask our card this week. Whoops. I just tried to do some kind of development in YouTube. Let's not do that, Jen. So if you can put it in all caps like Simon has done here, if you want to bring a question. I know last week there were a couple that I missed, or not that I missed, but we had extra questions. So if you want to bring it back this time, that would be good. Oh, I forgot to grab last week's card, which was the Five of Wands. Do we even need to talk about that? Do you guys want to recap on the Five of Wands? Or are we just glad it's over? I'm forgetting my own agenda because I don't have my little cards sitting right here next to me, but you let me know if you want to recap. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and gather those questions. Or if anybody, while I'm writing these questions, wants to share how the Five of Wands played out. It played out for me, and I don't really want to talk about it because it was that kind of Five of Wands. All right, so from Simon, we have, how do we prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be a tough winter? And I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with the resurgence of a certain C word. How do we prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be batten down the hatches, folks. Will be a tough winter. All right, I paused the chat, so hopefully I've got a few more questions in here. I do. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kim. Okay, let's see here. Scrolling. Okay, I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, so from Emily, what do we have here? How can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? Ugh, we got a lot packed into that one. How can we best lift our spirits and be of service? Sorry, these long questions take me a second, but I love them. I'm not complaining. To our loved ones and our community right now. Sandra's like, no, carry on. We don't need to revisit that Five of Wands. Right? It was 2 weeks ago. That's old news. All right, from Mendy, Artistry of Tarot. How can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? How can we use... How did you guys all enjoy your Samhain, Halloween, blue full moon night last night? It was amazing. I got all my stuff charged up. Energy of the new month for manifestation. Did it feel extra magical for anyone? It did for me. Maybe that's because I was just paying attention, you know? Okay, so from Aquarius, oh no, Aquarius Owl. I lost it. I lost it. Oh, we had lots of questions this week, you guys. You guys are awesome. Okay, so Aquarius Owl. I think I'm missing a letter, but I'll know what I mean. Okay, what can we do to embrace our creativity this week? This will be an interesting, as always, when we get kind of this wide variety of questions. I always love seeing how we can apply the card to each of these. And we usually get it done, don't we? Okay, one more. From Jonathan, how can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal any ancestral wounds? Were you supposed to take care of that last night, Jonathan? I'm just teasing. I'm writing it down. How can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal any ancestral wounds? Okay, it looks like I had some more come in. Richard, you had one. Oh, which areas can the blue moon shine light into? That would have been a good one. And heal any ancestral wounds. Oh, I like that blue moon. I'm just going to write it down in case we have time. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm just going to write it down because I really like the fact that you're bringing the blue moon into it, Richard. Which areas can the blue moon, this is a bonus if we have time, so we'll have to be efficient. I don't have a fifth card, but we'll figure something out. I'm feeling spontaneous today. Look at me going off road here. Light into our week. Okay. Sorry, it takes me like 10 minutes to write down all the questions, but I love, love, love that you bring them. Okay, so I have not just the C word, but the T word. Yeah, no, because there's just, yeah. Sorry, T for traumatized now. Thanks, Kristen. Oh, Patrice, you had one. How do we prepare ourselves for the U.S. elections and upheaval? Heal ancestral wounds that cause issues in our lives. Okay, so that, I got you, Jonathan. Cause issues in our lives. But by the very definition of wound, I suppose that's somewhat implied, right? Three of Wands came up for, oh, somebody. Was it Susie? Why did my chat jump? Hello, hello. Crid. Okay, so while I was writing down all those questions, okay. Oh, Five of Wands came up for Donna, not Three of Wands. Okay, and then we have, I do not think we've had the Strength card yet. Vivid Dreams, Blue Moon. I know this. Hi, Rochelle, Amethyst Ascension. Nice to see you. Chris, Elemental Cartomancy. You made it. Happy birthday to Chris. And Shane snuck in. Hi, Shane. T-Cat's here. Had a whole bunch of people sneak in. Ginger's here. Neem. Hi, Neem. Neem was making some statistical predictions on which card we might get today. Gigi Nelson, is that, wait. There it is. Welcome to your first play date. We're about to show you how it's done. Red Bean B, hello. Oh my gosh, so many people came in while I was writing those down. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. It was not intentional. I am not blanking anybody out, I promise. All right, so are we ready? Let's get to some play dating, folks. Let's show our new people how it's done. Okay, so, oh my gosh, this is just like the tiniest deck now. Now, I actually did charge what is left of our Playdate deck on the windowsill last night as well. I figured it could use just a little extra magic. Let's bring the right card for the right week. So from Simon, how do we prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be a tough winter? From Emily, how can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? From Mendy, the Blue Moon Charge Playdate deck. Heck yeah, Elle. So from Mendy, how can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? From Aquarius L, what do we do to embrace our creativity this week? From Jonathan, how can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal any ancestral wounds that cause issues in our lives? And a 6th bonus question, if we have time, just because he mentioned the words blue moon, from Richard. Which areas can the blue moon shine light into our week? So in which areas? Hi, Sea Cat. Ooh, wouldn't that be funny if it was the moon? Although, the moon can be a tough card. McComber Artist. Am I saying that right? McComber Artist. Hello. All right, one more time. How to prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be a tough winter. How can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? How can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? What can we do to embrace our creativity this week? How can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal wounds? And what areas of the can the blue moon shine light into this week? All right, here we go. Oh man, did anybody predict that? Oh shoot. I don't want this one today. I mean, I'll take it because it's Playdate and that's what we do. But I have an instant reaction to this. What about you? What are your thoughts? Let's see. No, what? Dang. Okay. But on the good news front, Ellen, I did figure out that we did get through all of the 5s. There's no more 5s. We've already had the 10 of Swords. I mean, I did call wand. Oh, yeah, we had a 24% chance of getting a wands, according to Neem. FML, says Saskia. Corbin says that definitely feels accurate for how my week is. Will was talking about this one the other day. I think he was. I have that in my watch later left. Shane's clearly visibly upset, according to that emoji. Kristen Louise, my interpretation. Let's do this. Let's pick up these big heavy sticks and let's do this thing. Yes. No, Richard, you can do this. That's what this card is saying, right? Okay, don't carry the burden by yourself, says Susie. All right. Oh, Rochelle helped bring this to fruition for Playdate today because it's one of her stalker cards. Stephanie, gross. Kimberly feels it. I can't lie. I've been feeling this card a lot lately. So, you know, I wasn't thinking about it like consciously, but now that I look at this card, I'm like, yeah, I feel ya. All right, so let's see what kind of your instant interpretations are of this. I think we have a few that are kind of coming in here. Let's see here. Somebody said, don't carry the burden by yourself. That was Susie. Let's see, what else do we have? Gingerface says, I call the 10 of Wands as organizing my priorities. Oh, I like that. Maybe not trying to do everything at once, right? Simon says, we feel like we are carrying the weight of the world. Don't we though? Like right now, especially? Saskia says, I'm a nurse. I'm feeling this. Oh, Saskia, I can only imagine that you are. Okay. Ooh, don't jump. Do not jump. I want to stay where I was. Thank you very much. Is this a prediction for what the U.S.? No, we did not ask that question, Jody. So it is not a prediction of how the that wasn't even in my mind as I was shuffling. So nope. Celtic Tarot Sheila, hello. He has his head down and shoving them, meaning he's doing it the hard way, right? Is there an easier way to do things? Elle says, can someone else carry my wands, please? Thank you. Here you go. Somebody else carry the wands. We need to achieve balance and purpose, says Simon. This calls us to persevere and show our strength this week. Yes, a heavy lift, but we can do this together. All right, so while we're at it here, I am getting out the melanated 10 of wands as well, because we like to look at that one too. Look at this beauty. So we have both our 10 of wands out now. All right, let me see what else you all are saying. Patrice says, oh yeah, I just read that one. Mendy says, it's not bad. 10 is completion, ready to move into a new cycle. Just get the job done anyway or anyhow. We are all definitely feeling heavy weights. This is calling me out, said somebody before my chat jumped. Dang it. Oh, Stephanie. Jonathan, learn to delegate things so you're not carrying all the weight yourself. Oh, balance and perspective instead of purpose, Simon. I gotcha. Elizabeth, responsibility, burden, obligation, stress, success. Hi, Gracia. It is. I think we've determined as much as we're not happy to see this card, we recognize why we see this card. Chris says, I always feel like the RWS is quite a shadow depiction of 10 of Wands. To me, it's about accepting that it's time to move on. And it's when we dig our heels in, we get this burden feeling. So if we're not moving forward, then things start to get heavier. Interesting. Wendy Norden. Hi, Wendy. Maybe carrying other people's burdens and need to learn to say no sometimes. I've had this card come up that way in readings quite a bit. That's something that this card often depicts for me. Oak Mama, hi Melanie. Oh gosh, that's exactly how I feel. Ready for the new cycle, says Patrice. Yes. Keep your head down and move through it, says Donna. Betsy says it definitely rings true. I think we're all feeling this. See what we've manifested? We did this. Kristen says, don't break your back carrying all the grocery bags at once. Take one bag at a time. Oh, I am so notorious for trying to carry as many grocery bags as I can because I have stairs and I don't want to go up and down the stairs more than I need to. But even though it is good exercise. Stephanie says, I'm a therapist and it's been harder than normal not to accidentally carry my clients' burdens home with me. I imagine that has to be one of the most difficult things about doing the job that you do. I am sure that it is. Let's see here. Oh, no. Okay. Corbin says, I'm guilty of doing that as well, carrying multiple groceries or other people's burdens. Let's see. Emily, I often think we could just put them down and carry a few at a time, even if we can't delegate to anyone else. We can't carry the whole burden at once. We have to prioritize and take one step or one wand at a time. Chris says, yeah, in this image, I feel the advice is to stop going at things head on, break the load down into manageable pieces, or ask for help, like the amazing Elle says. Did I skip you, Elle? Can someone else carry my wands? Oh, that's Elle asking for help. I get it. Okay. Elizabeth, maybe the enthusiasm has resulted in taking a lot of responsibility, so much that you feel overburdened. Yeah, sometimes we're like, yeah, I can take another one. Go ahead. Yeah, no, I'm good. Give me another one. And then you're like, oh, I took on too many wands. I've been known to do that at work a lot. I'm getting better though. I'm getting better about that. Simon says, carefully consider what we can take on and what really is our responsibility. Plow through the hard times, says Red Bean Bee. Let's see here. Rochelle says, stop. Why is it so jumpy today? It is worse than normal. I'm half tempted to switch back to my StreamYard chat here. There it is. I just feel like so much of our energy is tied together right now, and we need to learn how to not take on others' energies. Very empathic card. And that's interesting, too, because even though it's not in the suit of water, where we kind of feel a lot of that emotional stuff, the energy of the wands and the fire. Interesting. That's got me thinking. Jonathan says, 10 of Wands reflects a personality of if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself, and only I can get this done. Ooh, Maybe been guilty about that a time or two. What is important will remain while the rest stops, says Macomber artist, Macomber artist, MC artist. I don't know why I'm struggling so bad with that. I'm so sorry. Corbin says, as bad as this card can be, it feels so accurate for me right now. And it is the end, right? It's not like we're just starting this journey. This is something that we've been doing, and now maybe we're reaching that completion and we have an opportunity to change things. Look where you're going. The load may be easier to bear, says Aquarius Al, right? And especially like when you're looking down, I think sometimes when we look down, it feels harder and we can't see the end of the road. And so it feels like we're just going to be doing this forever. So even just looking up might make a difference. Why with the jumping? Elle says 10 of Wands equals world plus temperance. Maintain our spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical balance when the world is against us. White Tree Tarot, lack of perspective. Mr. Waite describes this card as false seeming. Person is hiding, disguising behind those wands. That's interesting. TCAT, 10 of Wands is about having a lot on your plate, and it shows that you're finishing something really important. This card also reminds you to see how far you have come and what you have achieved. Wendy says, sometimes we take on other people's burdens to avoid our own problems. So not only are we doing it to help, but maybe we're doing it as an escape mechanism. I'll help you so I don't have to deal with my crap. I maybe have done that before too. Okay, can you all stop calling me out here? Thanks. Linda. Hi, Linda. Okay, let's see here. Wait. Oh, I lost your comment. Come back. Responsibilities, well carried, lead to completion. See, now there's a nice positive spin, right? The shape of all the wands expand upwards like a flame, says Elle. It does look very flame-like, especially this one here, right? With all the glowing yellow. Donna, nearing the end of a difficult experience. Kristen, it's okay to say no or to put things down, especially when you are low on spoons, right? Conserving those mental health spoons, right? Jonathan, he does too much, never refuses anything, and in the end, it can all come crashing down on him. Right? Like right now we're still standing. If we make good choices, maybe we won't fall down, right? Richard, this tarot or this card rings true for me. I'm going back to school tomorrow and I have to carry all my stuff, 3 heavy bags between all 7 classroom bubbles I now teach in. Ooh. Okay, make sure you have a good ergonomically sound backpack, you know. Sandra, taking on more than we can handle. Yes. Pamela, all the wands appear to be perfectly balanced in his hands, but it has taken effort to accomplish this. Right? Like, yeah, how did he get that so balanced? Did he do it alone? Kristen, but seriously, if someone carried a bunch of sticks like that, leaning forward with their head down, they would totally fall over, right? Just ergonomically speaking of, that maybe wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Elizabeth, to try to step back to see what happens, you may be surprised, or try to, not to try to. Elle, oh, that reminds me, looking down can make you feel worse. Tricking your brain and adopting a confident stance can make you feel better and more able to handle your fears or feels. Yes, right? It's that whole concept of fake it till you make it. Like if you smile when you maybe aren't feeling happy, your brain actually starts to think that you're happy. Or for any of you Grey's Anatomy fans, I don't know if you watch that here in the US, but they adopt their Superman pose before they go into surgery. It's like, okay, I'm confident. And like the minute you take that pose on, like your whole body changes and it changes your mentality as well. I hope you don't mind me going on that little ramble there, Elle, in addition to what you said. Jonathan said, and I know Oak Mom was asking about this, the esoteric title of the 10 of Wands is Lord of Oppression. Because of his burdens, the constant need to take care of everything, the man here has become oppressed. Neem Essence 818, taking on too many projects, things at once may cause all to fall apart. Put some aside for now. Looks like he's climbing uphill too. Hi, Kay. Welcome in. I hope you are well also. I mean, I maybe have been hanging out with this 10 of Wands a little bit, but I'm good. I'm glad you're here. Let's see here. Yeah, YouTube notifications have been kind of problematic lately, which is another reason I actually posted it in the Playdate Facebook group today as well, because I was worried. I don't know. And then like the time change here in the US, but that doesn't really change, I guess, our time that Playdate is. So I'm just getting ready to hold this up to get to the symbols, but let me read Jonathan's comment here really quick. This card reminds me of the Greek myth of Sisyphus, who was condemned in Tartarus to an eternity of rolling a boulder uphill and then having to watch it roll back down again, only to push it back up. And Ginger said, it almost looks as if the way he holds the wands is like a shield, guarding his way along the path, right? So in addition to carrying this burden, is there some kind of avoidance? And somebody earlier had said, you know, maybe we're taking this all on to avoid our own stuff. So we're taking on other people's stuff. And I could see that, like, I'm going to hide behind all these sticks. You can't see me, right? So let's take a close look and see if you spot anything in the card that you don't usually, because every once in a while, actually quite often, we all have revelations. Okay, I'm still figuring out StreamYard cameras, apparently. Okay. So here we have our, it's interesting kind of the ergonomics of how he's holding that. And then we have our background, right? So how much, do you ever kind of notice what's in the background of this card? Why can I not do this? Okay, we're going to do this two-handed. Maybe I'll be, so we have this, oh, nope, on this side, structure over here. It's got some good sturdy boots on. Now this has another one of those kind of stage-like foregrounds that Pixie has been so known for, which is kind of interesting. So there is some stability here on the ground, right? He's not on bumpy ground. So does that impact how you look at this card? And I'll just pull this one up close here really quick as well, just so you can get a nice look at this pretty version. Rotate the opposite way you think you need to, Jen. Okay. All right, so I didn't see any of the chat, so I'll catch up now on that, now that I've done that. Oh, thanks for posting that link, Al. Stephanie had said he's almost at the end of his journey, but with his head down, it is difficult for him to see that. Patrice says the golden sands and the melanated look more promising. Our completion looks golden. Yeah, it's just, there's more light to this, right? Does it feel less, does this card feel less heavy than this one? Just kind of curious about that. Kay says, oh, sorry, that's just chitter chatter. Chitter chatter? That's not, those aren't words that go together. Simon. All right, so he's bringing our symbols for us here. The house stands for security, protection, home, wealth, and privacy, a place of one's own, our goal as a reward for our efforts, and we are moving towards it. He really has his head in the wands, notes Elizabeth. How can he see, right? Yeah, I think he's just literally looking at the ground in front of him, which I find very interesting. There's a lot of growth on the wands, notes Kimberly. Yeah, and you can really see that in the original RWS version here, because we can really see that green. Here, the yellow sprouties are sort of the same color as the wands. Patrice says the golden wands and melanated equal more promising outcome for our efforts. Jonathan, his head is buried inside the wands, which somebody else was just, or Elizabeth was just noting, which may imply that he does not see exactly how much his burden is. This may also imply he needs assistance. So Simon's kind of noting this inclined pose, negative meanings, difficulties in letting go, positive aspect, a better way to push forward. I mean, it does look like the house is the destination and he's almost there. I mean, maybe this is just firewood. I don't know. Ginger, once he reaches his destination, he may lay the wands down and rest. Exactly. It does look like he's at the end of the desert, says Oak Mama. Chris, I want to tell him to lift with his knees and not his back, right? Safety, be safe. Emily says, I was going to say earlier that the red tunic he wears in the Melanated Classic feels more empowered, right? So we've got, no, the side. He's got more of a confident outfit on here. Now there's kind of like some tinge of red in this one here, right? No, that way. So there's like hints of it, but not quite as much. It feels more, no, this one down to the ground. My image is not mirrored, so I have to like, one day. What is this? My third week using StreamYard, so I think I'll get better. Howl's Tarot Tent. I see green in those clippings. I could clone them for later. Like these? Not sure. Refusing to delegate. No, it's Wendy. Donna, having lots of irons in the fire. Some may succeed, others not. Kristen says an oppressive journey, but one with an end. Rochelle, asking me, do you have the Tarot of the She? The Ten of Wands is super interesting in that deck. I do not yet. It's been sitting on my wish list, just like hanging out. Like, I think I want it. And I think every time I see it that I want it more. But I haven't yet pulled the trigger on that one. So I would love if somebody has it who is in the tarot. I don't know if you're in our group, Rochelle, but if somebody hasn't, wants to post it for me so I can see it, that would be really cool. Actually, so that we can all see it. It's not just about me. Aquarius owl. He can't see how far he's come or how close he is to the destination. Did I read that already? I might have. Or somebody else, you're having the same thoughts as somebody else. T-Cat. To me, this card also reminds that your passions, i.e. the wands, can bring burdens as well. You have to accept that even the best projects can wear you down and block your vision from time to time. Oh, so true. Very true. Oh, I would love the tarot of the she. I'm thinking about it. I haven't like the fae and fairies and things hasn't been necessarily something that I connect with, but there's something about that particular deck that makes me want to make an exception. So, oh, Emily will post some. Thank you. You want it. Tarot of the she is fantastic. You enablers. Just, yeah, keep enabling me. I'm always looking for an excuse, right? So do we have any other symbols or symbology, or do we want to start looking at alternative versions of this card and answering some of our very important questions? Hi, John. He says, if you have the Solobusca 10 of Swords, you can compare the, or 10 of Swords or 10 of Wands. You can compare the original art design of this card. Donna says, maybe he's carrying those wands home to build something, a fence, an arbor. Essence Neem says, coming from the 9 of Wands, where it's almost there, don't give up. Maybe it is your burden to bear, but once you unload that burden, you feel complete accomplishment. I love that. Gigi says, having his head in the wands, all he can see is his load. When he look up, he would see his goal, and carrying the load would be made easier by remembering the purpose, right? So if you keep the destination in mind, like, why am I going to all this trouble? Why am I doing this? Oh yeah, when I get there, I'm going to have accomplished this thing and it's going to feel really good. And that can be sort of that last bit of motivation that we need to get us there. And sometimes we can't go backwards. Like, the only way to finish is to keep moving forward. If we drop all those sticks, it's only going to be harder to pick them all back up unless we're doing it in some kind of strategic way. Fighting against a barrier of your own, making to reach the destination, says Makmur Artist. This was mirrored after the 10 of Swords in the Solobusca. Interesting. I've heard a lot of talk about this deck lately, and I need to check it out because I keep hearing it's gorgeous. That's very interesting. So the Solobusca then must predate the Rider-Waite-Smith? You guys are teaching me stuff. All right, shall we bring on an alternative card? We're doing good for time today. All right, so for anybody who's new here, the way that this next part works is the day or two before a tarot play date, I have all of my decks that are Rider-Waite-Smith themed for the most part, or at least can closely enough align to it, but not necessarily duplicates of Pixie's artwork. And I put them in a random name generator, and I pick 5 decks at random, and I kind of rotate through my whole collection. And once we get to the end, we start all over again. So the first alternative deck that I have this week, so Rochelle says, the 10 of Wands says in the Tarot of the She, who thinks of the sacrifice as they cross, who weeps for knowledge of the bridge's loss. He knows the task is worth the pain, his suffering is for a greater good. Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, so our first alternative deck is from the fantastical, beautifully purple Crystal Visions Tarot. All right, let's take a look at this one and see what it makes us think. Oh, this is different. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this. I had no idea that Pixie drew inspiration from the Solobusca. Okay, now I freaking need that deck, and I haven't even seen it, but just for like the historical relevance, I love that I learn something new all of the time. Okay, yeah, L, see, same. It's, oh, Mendy says you would like it, L. It's kind of disturbing. Clearly, you know L. All right, so this is a trimmed version of this deck for anybody who's seen it. This is the first deck that I ever trimmed. I didn't do a terrible job. Anyway, let's take a nice close look at this guy. And I say this guy because that's literally, okay, focus. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So we've got all these arrows there. quite a heavy load. So in this case, I feel like it's the horse that's carrying the burden, clearly going uphill. Yeah, I love this deck trimmed. Getting rid of the white borders really helps the art pop in this. So what do you think? Does this give you different feelings than this one? Right? Okay, wait, what side am I on? There we go. What you think? I find it interesting here. There's definitely a heavy burden that's being carried, but there's assistance, right? So our human, I think it's a human. I don't know. Are there fairies in this deck? Maybe I should probably have not said that about fairies, but you know, the horse is carrying this load, or he's gotten assistance to help carry this load. What do you think? Elle says, I instantly thought it was the knight. I totally get why you thought that, because there's a horse. Let's see. Now we're talking about Solobusca. Terabyte set. Oh, you guys are talking about, oh, so there's multiple versions of it. Okay, interesting. Elizabeth thought this was a knight. Sandra thought it was a knight. Wendy, yes, the burden is being shared. Rochelle says, of course it does, because he has help. It seems like he's been on a long journey, says Corbin. Yes, this is the Crystal Visions Tarot. Maybe I didn't say that in all my babbling about trimming it. He's coming home from battle, Saskia. Simon, your tarot-thon was 2 a.m. for you. Oh, well, okay. I'm sure you covered it in your historical talk about Pixie. And I remember a lot of it, but yes, it was 2 a.m. So thank you for that forgiveness. Clearly, I needed to take better notes. Move closer to the screen. Is that better? Yeah, this is a smaller card, so it doesn't kind of stand up quite so well. Yes, the horse looks more tired than the guy, says T-Cat. Well, that's because he's carrying all this stuff, right? Same sense of exhaustion and almost arrival at destination, says Oak Mama. Makes me think he is being forced to relocate. Looks so sad, says Donna. Kay, I always wonder, is there a payoff at the end of the journey? Well, I feel like there must be with this 10, right? I feel like there just has to be a payoff. Emily says, it feels, well, I assumed you meant the card, but I'm coming with the card, Kim. Emily says, it feels that the horse is carrying a lot of the burden, but also the figure is too. Perhaps we have to be careful with this one to make sure we're not overloading others with our problems. Chris says, all his arrows kind of feel redundant to me. He can't be going into war with his horse slowly pacing up this hill. I would ask myself, does the work you're doing still serve a purpose? That's interesting. Or two, another way to look at this is maybe he's coming home and trudging back after going through the journey of whatever Ace through 9 was for him, potentially. Gigi says, I'm thinking of the Ace of Cups as the payoff. Yeah, let's move into that. Simon says, I'm only teasing. Even I had forgotten about Pixie taking the 10 of Wands imagery from the Solobusca 10 of Swords. Oh, being that it reminds me of the Knight, I wonder how the movement of this card compares to the Knight of Wands. Did the 10 succeed, or did he call it quits and get help with a horse? Well, if we get assistance, that doesn't mean that we've given up. It means we've found a way to keep going, right? I'm thinking he overloaded the horse and expected to ride it. So Macomar artist, right? So in this case too, here maybe there's too much expectation placed on what load the horse can carry, and he is making it up that hill, but doesn't look like he's moving very quickly. Jonathan, I think it's the horse doing all the carrying, and it's not the guy that's the focus here. Agreed. Going uphill, sunrise or sunset. You know, in those 10s, it's always tricky to know, right? You are stronger than you think. You have managed burdens better than you give yourself credit for, says Kristen. Yes. see? Ginger, I see him stopping to contemplate the rest of his journey. Should he lighten his load? What does the page look like? All right, I will tell you. I'm guessing it'll give you some kind of context. So the page in this one is completely different. We have this person leaning against a dragon, playing the flute. It's not focusing very well. So now you know where they were headed. Why won't you focus? Come on. Come on, you know you want to. It does not want to. It says we're not doing the page this week, so I'm refusing to focus on it. I'm so sorry. But I'm not going to fight that battle too long. I'm going to lay down my sticks. Okay. Melissa Zupan, hello. We're talking about the Ten of Wands today. Kay says he's reserving his own energy so he can be successful at the end of the journey. His job will not be finished. Donna says such a barren landscape, which is maybe why he needed to carry so many supplies in order to survive, right? Shall we answer our first question? So from Simon, our first question was, oh, interesting. Sorry, I'm reading ahead, having my own thoughts. How do we prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be a tough winter? Do we all want to blame Simon for the Ten of Wands right now? Because I feel like this is like a literal answer to that question. What do you think? How do we prepare ourselves mentally for what appears will be a tough winter? Ooh, thank you, Rochelle. Rochelle posted a picture of the Tarot of the She, Ten of Wands. So very cool. T-Cat, those packages look like all the projects and non-completed work that the journey has brought to him. He is still on his way to get them finished. Oak Mama says if he doesn't get off the horse might not survive the journey. Simon says, me? I'll take it. I mean, really, I have to probably share in some of the blame, really. Become preppers, said Kristen. So how we can prepare ourselves mentally to get through what appears will be a tough winter. And maybe it is that we need to steel ourselves for the fact that we're going to have to carry a bit more than maybe we would like to. But maybe if we ask for help when we need it, or gather resources that can aid us in our journey so that we don't feel like we're going it alone, and recognize that while the burden might be heavy, we are aiming for a destination, right? So kind of keeping that in mind as well is kind of what I'm thinking. Bye, Betsy. Thank you for stopping in. Keep our eyes on the top of the hill, said Sue. Stockpile your coping tools, strategies, and self-care stuff. Yeah, pack it up. Have it with you. Carry that with you as you proceed throughout the month, right? Oh, hi, Hen. Thank you for coming. And your loo rolls. You know, just buy what you need so that there is enough for everyone. Don't get too crazy. Maybe don't carry too much stuff so that there's enough for other people to have as well. Oak Mama says, I think he has to portion out his resources, including what the horse can carry. Emily, we know it's going to be hard going. We have to buckle up, ration our resources, and take it day by day. A best mom friend of mine is managing to carry on by using this mindset, one day at a time. Absolutely. Melissa says, with all the burdens that are on the figure in the Ten of Wands, figuring out how to lighten that burden through delegation might prepare us for the tough winter. Exactly. Like, lean on each other a bit, right? Chris says, don't try and solve all your problems at once while also trying to negotiate all the feels of a COVID-19 winter. Be kind to yourself and don't put unrealistic expectations on yourself. Yes. Hi, Sarah Waterchild Tarot. Nice to see you. Bye, Wendy. Simon said, focus on the end result, not the struggle with getting there. Exactly. There's a reason that this is hard right now, but the end goal is that we're all going to be in a better, healthier place. No hoarding the toilet paper, says Donna. Yeah, Emily says, I don't mean stockpile when I say ration. I mean only buy, take what you need. Yes. Yeah, I was just enhancing what you were saying, not arguing. Be Love and Crystals. Hey, B, nice to see you. Read from the book, Jen. From the Crystal Visions book? Is that the one you want me to read from? Elizabeth, I'm going to assume that's a yes. Let's see what it says. Wands. Okay, this one starts with Cups. I think Wands is at the end in this one. That always confuses me when the Wands is at the end. I have a very, you know, we all have our order that we like these to be in, right? So Chris says, and if you are hoarding toilet paper, make sure it's over, not under. That's right. There's only one way. Sorry, Simon. So the Ten of Wands is a card of feeling burdened, being overloaded, and struggling to make it. One person has taken on more than his share of work. The Ten of Wands deals with a workaholic mentality or someone who feels they are constantly forced to do things the hard way. It's a card of resistance and fighting an uphill battle. The character in this card sits upon a horse that is strong, yet the hunter and all of his belongings are too much for the horse to carry uphill with the hot sun beating down upon them. So maybe this is another thing as well, right? So preparing ourselves mentally is to make sure we are carrying our share of the load and not burdening those around us, unless we know that we're spreading the, what's the word? I'm not even loving using the word burden, but spreading the load amongst all of us a little more equally if we can. TCAT says we prepare ourselves by collecting self-care tools and strategies, how to get through this hard winter, and also accepting the challenge and trusting to our own strength. Set good boundaries with others, said Rochelle. Yeah, we all thought this looked a bit like a night, Sarah. You were not wrong. We sort of noticed that as well. Emily says you must rest. When the day comes to an end, stop, eat, rest, stay warm, keep merry, sing. Do what you can do to keep your spirits high and get up at daybreak and get going again. Yes. All right. Yeah, we all have our toilet paper opinions, don't we? Okay, so next question, next deck. So this one is a little bit off the beaten path of RWS, but it sticks closely enough. And I otherwise never look at it because I still have yet to actually work with this deck. And this is the Chrysalis Tarot. So I'll be interested to see, and hopefully I remember which suit is actually the wands or fire suit here. But I think it is not stones because that's pentacles. Mirrors is cups. Spirals, I believe, is our wands. Yes, yes. Okay. And then scrolls are like the air suit. Okay. Yeah. You know how I tell? This is my cheater way of telling. Like the 8. I'm like, oh yeah, that's 8 of wands. If I could only figure out how to hold it up. But okay, so we're going to get the 10 here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We got the right one. Okie dokie. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep myself organized here. We will get the next question after we look at this card for a few minutes. Okay, so I still love the backs on these cards. I think they're so pretty. Okay. So this one's kind of similar in a way. Although the person and the horse are one now instead of two separate beings, I suppose. But here we still have Jen of Tomorrow. Is that hen is now Jen of Tomorrow? Has your time come back? Oh yes, Jen of Tomorrow. That makes sense. Okay. Yes, our time changed today, so now we are all back in our usual places that we're supposed to be. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts on this? The crossroads is an addition. So Sue's noting here that we have sort of this crossroads of direction. And Corbin was noticing the same thing. Is that Chiron, asks Oak Mama. That's a good question. Let's see if it says. It does not say that. I'll read the book here in a second. Richard says, I like this one. He is weighed down, but moving forward. Makes me think of Chiron. Okay, so a few of you are seeing that. Emily says, so interesting because with the other card, I was considering how we are connected to those who we share our burdens with. And in this card, the man and the horse are one. He looks strong, though. Right? It looks like he is carrying this load really without much of a problem, doesn't he? Which I think is interesting. Let me try and keep the shine off there for you. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. He looks really strong. Yes, exactly. See, and it's like, yeah, I'm just trotting along. I got this. No problem. No problem carrying this burden. However, maybe he needs to make sure he goes the right direction so he doesn't take the long way, right? He still might want to get there efficiently. What's his facial expression? Okay, I'll pull it up close for you here again. Can you see? Oh, he does look a little frowny faced. So from far away, it looks easy, but if we zoom in a little closer, we see a bit more of the struggle, don't we? Good question, Sarah. That was a good question. So we could zoom in on that and take a closer look. So he's a successful multitasker, says Ginger. He looks a bit tired, says Emily. Yeah. Yeah. See, and that's another point though, isn't it? Because a lot of times we can look at somebody from far away and we think, oh, they're fine. They've got that. And it isn't until we get closer or inquire or reach out that we know maybe that they are actually struggling more than we realized. And maybe they're not carrying that burden so easily. And maybe we can offer to help. Ooh, which is going to work out beautifully when we go to answer Emily's question. Shane says, I'm sure it overlaps with the other things we've said, but also make sure you don't need to push yourself to the max. Even strong, any burden can be heavy. Definitely. Richard says, the spirals all looked held together, not like the RWS rods all waving around, a bit more stable. Looks a little weary, not struggling too much, says Waterchild Tarot. Gigi says he looks determined. Yes. I was thinking he had a load of fresh shellfish or something. Well, this is the suit of spirals, so, you know, everything's spirally. I think the spirals are pretty. It's so true. Sometimes just saying, hey, can I help you, means the world to others. Yeah, what can I do? Very simple questions. Even if you can't do anything, letting people know that you're there in case there is something you can do can sometimes make a world of difference. So Kristen is noticing that the leaves are all off of the trees, which means it is the end of autumn. He must get his resources home to his family before the winter begins. Ooh, that's a great observation. I love that. Snails with garlic. Okay, so in the book, and then we'll get to our question here. It says, oh, to be fully human. The centaur is sometimes ruled by his human heart, oftentimes by his base instincts. Bound up bundles of negative energy symbolize his past regrets, missed opportunities, and unbecoming behavior, an unbearable burden. Now that's interesting. Did any of us really pick that up in that card? I don't know. I didn't, but feel free to speak up if you did and just didn't say anything. He arrives at a crossroads, the ultimate symbol for life-changing choice. The 10 of spirals in your reading is a clue to improve your energy, or is a cue to improve your energy and lighten your load. Draw the reins in on the difficult cycle this card signifies and choose the high road. This card says, don't play the blame game, put the past behind you, and don't look back, because you're not going that way. I love to end that. So, interesting. Ginger says he uses focus and determination to push through. Jonathan says the spirals would roll far if dropped. True. Sarah says spiral for wands is weird, gotta say. Would have chosen those for pentacles. Yeah, there are stones. So I think the stones are the pentacles in this suit. Or in this deck. Yeah, I know. Well, this is a little bit of a different deck. It goes a bit off the beaten path, but it's close enough that I usually feel like it works pretty decently for Tarot Play Date. Elle says the 10 of wands and swords, they carry them, yet the cups and pentacles are part of the landscape. So with carrying the wands, we have control over situation compared to having no control over the situation. Ooh, I like that observation too, Elle. That's awesome. All right, so our second question from Emily, how can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? How can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? Okay, so Emily had said, I would often sense the feeling of gratitude from elderly people in my community when I would offer a hand or some help. And now, since COVID, I'm worried to go close in case I endanger them. Right? So we have to be much more strategic in how we help. But, you know, if there's somebody you can go get their groceries for them and leave them on their front porch, or, you know, there's always kind of those ways that we can stay safe and still be of service if we want to think about those things. I mean, granted, Amazon delivers or grocery stores deliver or whatever as well. All right, so how would you answer this question? How can we best lift our spirits and be of service to our loved ones and our community right now? So I would say, I mean, right off the bat, the thing that kind of comes to mind here is, with this card in particular, if my load is not too heavy, obviously reaching out to see if I can help somebody else with their load, right? Can I help carry this for you? What can I do to help ease some of that burden? Now, if I'm carrying too much, then I think what I would have to do in that situation so that I can still be of service is to be communicative and maybe ask for help, because we don't often think that when we ask for help that we are servicing others. But sometimes when we say, hey, I could really use your help with this, that can be a relief to people who want to help but don't know how, or don't know how to offer. And sometimes I know as a person who, if I feel stuck or helpless or something, and somebody says, hey, can you do this for me? It's like, it's a relief. It actually releases some of the burden, because now I know what I can do to help. So those are just some instant thoughts that I kind of have. Rochelle says, help lift others up in whatever ways we can, even if it's just on an emotional level, letting others know they have your support. Yes. Chris says, help with their burdens. Don't always wait to be asked, because sometimes it's difficult to ask for help. Yes, Amazon has lifted many burdens and created some, I'm sure. Jonathan, help those that are burdened, and if they need help picking a road at the crossroads. We all seem to be fairly aligned in how we would interpret this card for this question. Kristen says, don't ruminate on negative things and past mistakes, which will make you unable to look outside yourself. It will make being there for others more difficult. That is great, and especially what we were reading about this card just a little bit ago. John, put a post at the 10 of Swords and Tarot Playdates Facebook group for, oh, thank you. I was reading it like you were answering the question, but now I recognize you were saying you put a post of. Thank you for that. Emily, I'm thinking food banks right now here in the UK. I think that is where I can help, but I need to call them to find out what they need and offer support to bring some things to donate. Yeah, and sometimes it's just your dollars too can really lift the burdens. All right, let me know if you have any other thoughts on that. But in the meantime, I will get out. Now this one's going to be different. We have some fans of this deck and some not fans of this deck. But I have here the Tarot by Alexander Daniloff, which is a little bit quirky, but I love it for it. Let's see what this one looks like. 7, 8, 9. Oh, okay. So you get my pre-reactions before I show you as I like organize and put things away. And this is like the strangest tech box, but it works. Okay, let's see here. And I think he keeps kind of changing up his style too on how he does his tech box. For those who haven't seen this, got some kind of crazy backs on it. But here is our 10 of Wands, Alexander Daniloff. Oh, thank you. This was from Northwest Tarot Symposium 2019. I forgot what year it was for a minute. Okay, so here is our 10 of Wands. Now you want to see an expression on a face. My goodness. Now okay, why can't I figure out which way to rotate my hand? Again, 2 hands, Jen. That'll help. Steady. So he is like all tangled up in his wands. So what do we think about that? Let me see if I can get that a little bit closer for you. Oh, there we go. Oh, I made you buy this one, Richard. I'm glad you like it when you got it. A lot of people sometimes have said that it looks on camera like the cards look more cream colored and then they're more white when you actually get them. All right, let's see what y'all think about this. TCAT had said, giving others something that we are passionate about by baking or singing or bringing light to other people in answer to that last question. I love that. Corvin says he is too attached to his burdens and won't put them down or doesn't know how to. Yeah, like I feel like if he tries to untangle himself, he's just going to fall down. Like he's stuck. Yeah, Ginger, he looks spent. Yes, he does. Elizabeth, I'm getting this deck. Shane, how could you forget what year it is? It's been a train wreck the entire time. Well, I didn't forget this year. I forgot last year because this year is overwhelmed. That's my excuse. Rochelle says the color of that card is excellent. Not sure I've seen this deck before. Yeah, it's a very cool one. I do have a walkthrough of it, Rochelle, when I got it. I'm pretty sure it was mostly Mendy who, well, actually it was Kelly Bear. She talked about it and gushed about it, and then I looked it up, and then Mendy got it like right after that and started gushing about it everywhere. I was like, okay, I have to have this deck. Kimberly says he is having a very hard time. Donna, my precious. Yeah, it's almost like he's clinging to these burdens that are hard for him, and yet he's maybe finding some security in them and won't let them go. And how often does that happen? How often do we cling to the things that actually don't make us feel good? Like the burdens from the past. It's like when we let them go, we don't know how we will identify how we'll feel about things. Like you find a certain level of comfort sometimes in holding on to those things from the past. And sometimes that healing and moving forward is scary because then you're venturing into the unknown. They are trapped in a situation, said Naomi. Yes. Kristen reminds me of the laurels in the world card, like a birth canal. Your trials will birth new things, right? We certainly get that sort of a look here, don't we? Okay, whoops, don't jump, don't jump, don't jump. He's clinging. Yes, Lori. He's totally tangled in the wands. No matter how he moves, he is trapped. Jonathan, imprisoned by his wands. Yes, Richard. He looks like he's going nowhere real fast, his name. Exactly. Chris says he's trying to do so much at once that he is tangled up in all of his tasks. Yes. The ring was a huge burden, my precious. Yes. In response to the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. This is, well, I don't know that I said that right because they're different stories, but you know what I mean, right? This is kind of uncomfortable to look at, says Emily. Shadow, shadow, pokey, pokey. Right? Gollum, yes. The background of this card reminds me of the World card. Yeah, so you're not the first one to think that, Donna, there. I see that. Okama asks, is he going forwards or backwards? Maybe he's backing through that portal. Interesting. Like, is he like pulling them towards him? He certainly doesn't look like he's moving forward in this particular version. Is it home to him? Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. Interesting, Rochelle. Yeah, getting very attached to his oppression. Oh, thanks for posting a link to that, Elle. I appreciate that. Such a top mod. Sarah says, I see someone who's trying to carry something that is ungainly and awkward. T-Cat, he looks suspicious, like he would be worried that somebody might steal those wands. These are mine to the bitter end. Yes. You are a large reason why I needed to get this deck, Mindy. That's what you did. Emily says he's like the perfectionist. Actually, this resonates. He's clinging to the unhealthy behaviors that he has developed as a comfort control mechanism. Yes. Jonathan, he's trying to do too many things and is doing nothing because he's trapped by all the things. My burdens are my own, says Ginger Faye. Okay, Susie says, I see him camouflaging himself, blending it to those wands. All right. So, speaking of Mendy, this is Mendy's question. And Mendy is one of the people who most encouraged me, taunted me to get this deck. And it's really because she just posted pictures of it everywhere and I was loving it. Mendy asked, how can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? How do you answer that with this card? How can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? Get the heck out of this tangled mess. I don't even know how to answer that. That's a good one. What do you think? I need some playdate thoughts here for this one. How can we use the energy of the new month for manifestation? Maybe part of it too is that it's a new month. Maybe we can lay down these wands now. Like we've been carrying them for a while. Maybe put them down. Just put them down. Like you might fall over getting out of this mess. So it might not be easy, but maybe still worthwhile. So that's one thought. McComber Artist says, holding on to those things that act as the barrier to the destination, whether we move backwards or forward, the progress is slowed. Interesting. Mendy says, grab all that fire and don't let go. Now there's another perspective. I'm sitting here saying, put it down. Mendy's saying, embrace it. Grab them all, my precious. Maybe do the opposite of what he's doing, says Lori. See, that's kind of what I was thinking. One wand at a time, said Naomi. Jen says, release your burdens to the universe, higher consciousness, right? So even if there's not somebody physically present who can help, maybe you can get some spiritual help. I like that. Jonathan, focus on manifesting only one thing at a time. Don't get trapped by trying to manifest too many things, which will simply mean you manifest nothing, right? If we don't have that focus and intention and we're scattered, then we're not able to truly focus on those things that are most important. Love that. Emily says, don't be afraid of making a mistake. If you want to do a ritual, do one. If you feel too burdened to do one and you're ill, don't do one. Let it be, let it go. Stop resisting what your body and the universe is showing you. Rochelle says, stop being a yes person. Learn to say no sometimes. Oh, so for some, it can be hard. I have areas of my life where I'm very good at saying no, and other areas of life where I'm terrible at saying no. And I don't know why that is necessarily. I'd have to think on that. Ginger says, use the wood to light the fire to illuminate your path. Now that's clever, right? Let's MacGyver ourselves out of this situation. Emily said, bonfire, burn stuff. That's always fun. Right? Emily says, don't get sucked into others selling you what is right for you. Let it come from within. That's where the answers can be found. Kristen, you can't walk through the next doorway if you don't put things down that make you less effective. Yes. Okay, we all possess our own creature comforts. Perhaps it's time to identify dependencies as we move forward to a new venture or time. I mean, we did good. We did good. You did good. You did good answering this question. Oh, Pamela had said, release, let the chips fall as they may. Oak Mama had said, gather your resources and pull them to a new dimension. Sorry, I skipped a few comments there. All right. Yeah. He's way down the hall, but his little tiny, like 7-pound kitty body projects his voice so far. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, he's like way down there and you can hear him. All right, hold on. I got to take a drink of water out of my ginormous water jug here. He is very vocal almost every time I turn on my camera anymore. Like whether it's for YouTube, whether it is for work Zoom meetings, he makes an appearance every darn time. Okay, let's go a completely different direction now with our next deck. Meow. TCAT, by choosing what it is that you want to manifest. Manifestation works best when you get clear with your wishes and what you want the outcome to look like. Yes. Okay, so now I have the rotate the Star Seeker Tarot. This is a deck that I had backed on Kickstarter that I just think is so pretty and lovely. Gorgeous purple backs. And I love me some purple. All right, so we have, oh, I thought this was shuffled. I mean, I thought this was in order. Oh, it's kind of in order. What did I do? All right, hold on. Okay, the majors are in order. And then I get to ace, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I just can't read. 6, 7, 8. I don't know what my problem was. All right, so I got my 10 of Wands from the Star Seeker Tarot. Sarah says, oh, I love the Star Seeker. I do too. You know, when it's really surprisingly diverse. It almost appears collage-y. I don't even know how to describe this deck. It's very different than anything else that I have in my collection. But here is the Star Seeker Tarot. So let's get a nice up close. Oh, there's a house in the background. I did not even realize that. I love the crystals at the ends of these wands. For a minute, I thought she was like stopping to tie her shoe. You know, but I don't think that's what it is. I think she's just like hoofing it up the rocks there. All right, so what do y'all think? Chris said, very feminine image to me. Birth and creativity can be literal or figurative. Use that fire energy to create something new. Was that on this one, Chris? Why? There, that one. Okay. Elle says, ooh, love this. Donna recently added this deck to her wish list. Oh, the road is harder in this card. Yeah, I mean, there's a very serious uphill climb going, but we do see what the destination is, don't we? Which I find really nice. You know, in some of these others, we don't really know where they're going. And this kind of harkens back to the original RWS where we can see the house in the background. She has a much better carrying position. Yeah, it's a much more strategic carrying of the load. She can actually see over the tops of the wands, right? So they're not blocking her way like we see in this version, for sure. Ginger Faye says, nice magical wands. She's gathered her magical tools. Yes. No, sorry, Chris. I just wanted to make sure I was referencing the right card for your comment. Naomi says, it's a perilous journey on all the rocks. Yep. White Tree Tarot says, it seems that this is not the first time she is doing this. She can see, notes Donna. Yeah, so do we all feel like she's handling this load just a bit better than maybe some of our previous figures in the Ten of Wands? Yeah, Elle finally found her collective tarot. Lori says that could be you, Jen. Yeah, I mean, my hair is getting that long because I missed my last haircut. Yeah, I suppose it could be. All right, let's see here. Rochelle says, this one definitely makes me think she is easily getting pulled into pretty things and taking on too much. Ooh, so she saw those crystals. She's like, I want that pretty crystal on the end of that big stick and that pretty crystal at the end of that big stick, right? Next thing you know, she's carrying too much. Aquarius Elsa, she can see the destination even though she knows it will be tough. Pamela, she needs to be present for each step upward so as not to fall. Like if she couldn't see her way forward, she'd be in huge trouble. There'd be not a very positive outlook for this card, would there? This is the Star Seeker Tarot, Jonathan. Okay, so just because we're moving along kind of here, we're getting a little bit later on time than I realized. So Donna said it might be time to downsize. So Aquarius Owl asked us, what can we do to embrace our creativity this week? So how would you answer that? Now, this is a Wands card, so it's fire, right? And often that's where we talk about creativity. What can we do to embrace our creativity this week? So tell me what your thoughts on that, and I'll read a few more of your observations here. Emily said, it looks so cold, though, and she doesn't seem to be wearing many layers. Yeah, but maybe she's hot carrying all those sticks. Let's see. Macomber artist, in all the cards to me, they're using the legs, not the back or the core muscles, the brain or the heart to intuitively work with what they carry or are taking on, thus making their job harder than it needs to be, right? If you don't use the right muscles to carry the load, it's heavier and it's harder. Let's see. Looks like she's carrying firewood to that little cabin. Exactly. Elle says, what did the community do to deserve a brand? Oh, help finding all the decks. Yes. Rochelle, make a list so you can easily prioritize. So answering the question, how can we use the energy? Nope. What can we do to embrace our creativity this week, right? So maybe try not to do all the things at once because that might make it harder. Maybe if we, again, put down some of those wands, tackle one thing at a time, might be able to feel more creatively free. Emily says, ooh, be fearless, be brave, try something new, but be cautious and methodical. Aquarius L says, I'm doing NaNoWriMo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. For the first time, looks like I have my hands full. I know the journey would be hard, but the accomplishment will be worth it. So the burden might feel heavy, but then you know that the destination is worth it. I love that. Emily said, make a plan. Rochelle said, taking on too many things, so it's harder to concentrate on one thing. Definitely. Kristen, don't be overwhelmed by your expectations from yourself regarding the end result. Just take one step at a time and enjoy the process. That's interesting too, right? It kind of it's like, you know, don't be looking into the ones. Like she can see the destination. She can see where she's headed. So if she keeps her eye on that, that's going to make that effort easier for her than maybe what we've seen in some of the other cards, which makes it kind of an appropriate one to answer this question, I feel like. Chris has all those potential walking sticks that could help her up the incline, and she's choosing to make work out of them. This week, we could look at our tasks and try to see them in a different light. Ooh, that's interesting. Lori said, ask for help. Declutter to help focus, says Donna. Let's see. Don't be afraid to step outside the box, says Emily, that other people have placed on you in order to achieve more than others expect of you. Ginger says, research many avenues for creativity. Choose a select few. Oh, you guys have all kinds of good answers. Pamela. Oh, it says, I'm learning to draw a dragon for my daughter's birthday. I need to honor the process, even though it is challenging, and keep going towards the goal. Oh, that's cool. What a nice effort to make. I would not try to draw anything for any of my children. Jonathan says, focus on what spark is currently burning and work on that until you feel a new spark ignite. If you try to do it all, then you'll lose your spark of creativity. L, magic in the mundane, magic and charm in your everyday routine. There's magic in everything. I love that. Okay, let's see. Billy's craft room. Hi, Billy. The expectations of others are not a to-do list. Oh, that's a good phrase. I like that. The expectations of others are not a to-do list. Well, I'm going to keep that one in my head. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, let's, I was going to read from the book, but I'm a little bit short on time. So I'm going to keep going because we have one more deck, and then we'll see if we have enough time to answer Richard's questions, maybe just with the same deck. Okay, so now I have a classic Druidcraft Tarot. I haven't pulled this one out in a little bit. And let's get our Ten of Wands from this one. Okay. This is a trimmed version of this as well. Let's see what you think. So he's also got a heavy load going up a rocky hill. We don't see where he's going, but we see more of where he's come from. He's definitely got a more strategic way of carrying those wands, though, than this guy. That's for darn sure. You know? So what do you think about this? I love this one too. The Ten of Wands is like labor and delivery is the goal. That's an interesting way to look at it, Neem. Such a beautiful card. Yes, it is. So, Richard, I hate this deck. All right. You know, it's not for everyone, apparently. Chris. Oh, thank you, Chris. That's only because you can't see all the cards together that it looks. I show you one card at a time. These are the only two decks I've trimmed actually that we pulled today. So the only two I've trimmed are the Crystal Visions. That was my first one. And this Druidcraft. The first one I used scissors. This one I used the guillotine. And I need more practice, in all honesty. But thanks. It's all illusion. Druidcraft is fab, especially when trimmed. Yes, Sandra. I really like the way Simon trimmed his the most recent time, where he left the green border on the bottom. I meant to do that, but then I accidentally trimmed one a little short. And then, then you're stuck. You're committed. Emily says, he looks tired again for sure. He reminds me of the Hermit. Interesting. Lori says he's got his back into it. Billy, that's totally how I feel at the moment. Had a month of tower moments and now fearing losing access to food in the new lockdown if supermarkets don't deliver again. Oh, is that an issue where they weren't delivering? Yikes. Corbin's one of your faves. Yep. Let's see. He already made it a long, long way, said Gigi. Yeah, you can see this path that's been traveled. Oh, you did the same thing that I did. You cut off the bottom, Sandra. He looks older, like he has spent his life at subsistence level. This is Kristen. You can see how far he's carried them. Yep, meme. Hi, Lucy. Nice to see you. Okay, so any other thoughts on this? Are we just do we want to get straight to the question? Let's get straight to the question. And we can apply your additional observations to it. All right, so from Jonathan, okay, oh, this is interesting. How can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal any ancestral wounds that cause, what did I say? Oh yeah, that cause issues in our lives. So how can we acknowledge our ancestors and heal any ancestral wounds? I wrote any down twice, like what's wrong with me? That cause issues in our lives. So right away, I think, okay, we can recognize that maybe we've been carrying the burdens of those wounds that might not be ours to carry, right? And we've been traveling this long path, and maybe as we continue, maybe we should start shedding some of those, right? And keep moving forward and not be so focused on the past. I don't know. There's more to that, but I think I'll be interested to hear what you all think. So he's experienced at this, said Donna. So it looks like he's been doing this for a while, right? He's really strategic in how he's carrying the wands. Jonathan says his burden is better bundled and looks easier to carry. Exactly. Waterchild Tarot. I like that he's also going over rocks, like in the Star Seeker. Now, we understand that the journey is difficult. Here we may have had some flat road, but it's not all like that. And it could be that when we start our journey, maybe we think it's going to be easier than it actually is. So we're like, oh, that flat path, I can carry all this stuff. And then you get to the rocks, and you're like, shit. No, I guess I have nowhere to go but up, you know. So sometimes we can get ourselves into this situation accidentally thinking it's going to be more manageable than it is. Okay, so is this me now? Is this mine to carry? Asked Billy. Thank you, Susie. Bundle up those hurts and burn them, said Sarah. Emily says, oh, you know what? I know why. He reminds me of the hermit. There's a local man who was well known for living in a wagon with a horse in Devon. He was an educated man who rejected the patriarchy. Interesting. Donna said, jump in chat. Put ourselves in the place of those who came before us. Oh, interesting. Rochelle, exactly. Learn to know what is yours or others' burdens or energy. Kristen, interesting. I've been researching my Irish ancestors' experiences in the potato famine and the forced migration of the 1600s. I'm not sure how to process that question. It's a tricky one. Let's see. He was you're talking about the guy that rejected the patriarchy was a university professor. Interesting. All right, so Jonathan has an answer to his question. Instead of passing on the burdens passed to us, we should release the things that no longer serve the greater good. Always good advice. Elle says, fighting the past only blinds me from my present, right? And you're turned around. You're facing the wrong way, you know? Neem says, their path isn't destined to be our path. We pick up where they left off and make our own choices. Choose our own path. It's not where you start, it's where you're going. Oh, great answers to this. I love it. We should not be afraid to acknowledge the burden, says Oak Mama. So recognize that we're carrying it. Sometimes we may not even realize that we have all of these sticks on our back, right? Or all of these wands or all of these burdens, right? We're just used to it. We've been walking hunched over for so long. We don't know what it's like to stand up straight. And when you go to stand up straight, it feels kind of weird, right? So that's usually a good clue that maybe you've been carrying more than you should be without even recognizing it, because you've adapted to what your normal is. That doesn't mean that it's not heavy. Let's see. Aquarius Owl said, realize those before us held their own burdens, things they kept from us to shield us. They try to carry our burdens for us. Gigi, but also honor the burdens our ancestors carried out of responsibility for us. We might agree to carry some burdens for those to come after us. Were you two like in total sync right there? It was like you guys just did the same interpretation, but in different ways. That was cool. All right. Let's see. Billy, oh, wait. Okay, so there we go. Donna, knowing what our ancestors have gone through helps us know we have the heritage to help us get through our own challenges. Elle's trying to hit on the dead professor. I don't know what's happening here. White Tree Tarot, maybe those burdens are firewood for the fire, which will lighten up our current situation. Yeah, burn stuff, because it's fun. I mean, safely burn stuff. But was that not cathartic? I didn't burn anything last night, I just realized, and that would have been really fun. All right. Say shoulders and see what happens. If your shoulders drop, you know you were carrying tension there. Just bringing attention to it, right? And if anybody does meditation practice where you do like the body scans and you just bring awareness to each part of your body, it's really interesting sometimes how you can you realize you're hunched or you're tensed and you're not recognizing that you're carrying those extra burdens. All right, so we have to do our reversals, but also really quickly, let's bring it back because I wanted a bonus question this week. I'm breaking my own rules here, and I wanted to answer Richard Longman's tarot question: which areas can the blue moon shine the light into, or in which areas can the blue moon shine light into our week? And I feel like this is actually a pretty easy question for us this week. I think the blue moon is shining a light on the burdens that we are carrying. Let's be more aware. Let's look around and kind of recognize. Let's look up, right? Don't be just looking down and kind of buried in it. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, recognize what burdens you might be carrying that either you don't need to at all or that you might be able to ask help with. Also look around and look at your loved ones around you and see what burdens maybe they are carrying that you can help with. So I'm just turning this into a reading for us for the next week. So thank you, Richard, for that. If you guys have any other thoughts on that, while I get ready to flip this card upside down, I would love to know what you think. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for the question. I don't know, I just felt like we needed to answer that one this week. So not everybody reads reversals, but oftentimes we find the card either reversed if we do read reversals, or we find it in a spread position that's either representing blocked energy or an extra challenge to overcome. So when you see this as reversed, how do you interpret that? Let me see if I can get kind of a good angle on these. I feel like he's going to completely lose his grip on all of those wands. Like it's all going to come crashing down is my immediate thought, but I'll be interested to see what you guys think of as well. So Billy had said, talking of blue moons, I laid out crystals and card decks for the moonlight to charge. It was wall-to-wall clouds, so the moon had moved around to a different room. Oh, we had beautiful clear skies last night. I looked out and I saw the wall. So I had crystals and decks both on the east side where the moon rose, and then on the west side where it set. I was just like, okay, we're just covering it. We're charging everything this month. Let's see. Oak Mama says, reversal, taking on too much or avoiding responsibility. Yes. Jonathan, 10 of Wands reversed indicates a blockage in your life and little progress is being made. So you're definitely not seeing that path forward, right? You may be halted in place and kept at bay. You may have taken on more than you can handle. Jonathan, your hard work and efforts may be for nothing and wasted. How depressing is that? That's such a depressing thought. Longman Tarot says, even a more slippery hold, right? It's much harder to hold on to this. You still might be able to do it. You know, I said they all might come crashing down, but you might be able to hang on, but it's going to be much more difficult. Sarah says, Waterchild Tarot says, you know, he just let them all fall away. So maybe this is time to like, let it go, let them drop, right? Maybe that's a good thing and not a negative letting go, but perhaps a positive one. Emily says, you need to face the fact that it's too much to hold on to. Patrice says, let it go. Is it, oh, you know what I'm thinking in my head. You know what I hear in my head. You know, for any Disney fans, you know what I'm thinking. All right, Kristen, could it mean not being aware of the burdens you have been carrying? Donna, he's going to get flattened by all those wands. Neem, Essence, 818. I made my moon water last night, set all my stones and crystals around it outside, feeling accomplished. I keep forgetting to make moon water. I need to do this. Like, I think that's such a cool thing. And I know Shane has even done it, my son. And every time I text him, I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Next full moon. Somebody remind me to make moon water. All right. Emily says, it's like Mercury retrograde. If you don't slow down, it will slow you down. Anybody else getting their ass kicked by Mercury retrograde right now? This gal right here, ass kicked. Let me just tell you. Jackie's singing it for me. She knows what I'm thinking. All right. Shall we have an activity for the week? I mean, sometimes I know I get a little lazy with my own activities. You guys are welcome to hold me accountable. Let's find out what our 10 of Wands activity is this week. Ooh, okay. So this was another one that my friend Jilly at Little Zen Crown came up with the night that we were planning all these out. So we'll give her credit for this one. This one's called Overwhelm, exclamation mark. Why do we think we have to do it all ourselves? Okay, sorry. I just want to fix this before I pay. Okay, there we go. So here's the activity. Pull out all your court cards and separate by rank, meaning page, knight, king, queen, right? I don't know why I put the queen on top, but you know, we'll just roll with that. Now shuffle each pile of 4 and choose one from each rank. So choose one page out of the 4, choose one knight, choose one queen, choose one king. Now put those together. What advice would these cards give you in a time of stress and overwhelm? So pull the court cards in to help you. So this will serve 2 purposes. One, it kind of gets us thinking about the burdens that we take on with the 10, right? But then also, how can we get help and advice? I like that. And even though she's not here, thank you, Jilly, for that activity. Much appreciated. All right, you guys, we made it just in the nick of time. And yes, Elle makes a great point here. Don't forget to post your activities in the Playdate group. I love seeing them. And sometimes when somebody else does that, I'm like, oh yeah, I should do the activity. See, I need help, folks. Help me carry the wands of tarot activities. Hi, Justin. You made it just as we're kind of wrapping up here. I don't think it's too late to make moon water. Leave it out tonight. I leave mine out for 3 days. Ooh. Wow. Oh, I'm glad you made it in. You made it in a little earlier. It's no disturbing, even if you said hi. Okay. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just make a little late full moon water. That's a great idea. All right, my friends, I will be really interested to see how you embrace or maybe let go of the 10 of Wands this week. So share your stories or come back next week with them. And I promise I won't just fly by it like I did with the 5 of Wands. Thanks for coming. And until I see you next week, have a wonderful rest of your day, week, or whatever until I see you in the next one. I'm sending you much, much love. Bye, everyone. Actually, if I can figure out how to get out of here.